I call this meeting of the Capital Captivators Club number 116 to order. And if everyone would please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. My name is Brian Lynch. I am the Sergeant at Arms for Capital Captivators Club. And I would now like to introduce our club president, Avis Walsh.
Hello.
Turn the meeting over to you
Oh, well, great. Thank you.
to welcome our guests.
Great. Welcome, guests. It's always wonderful to have more new faces around our table. And look, we're full today. That's great. If you're comfortable, could you let us know first your name and what brings you to the Toastmasters meeting today?
My name's Michael Ojeda. I work for the Bureau for Private Post-Secondary. The main reason for me coming here today is because I get real nervous when I talk to anybody.
You're in good company.
So that's the one thing that hold me back from a lot of things that I need to do in my work and also my private life. So if I can learn to do that better, I like it.
Great. Thank you for being here. I think we'll be a good solution. Yes.
My name is Marco Ospina. I met Avis, I think last year when she came to do a speech at Sacramento Works in
Yeah.
Hillsdale. I was looking for work. And I'm about to start a new job in sales in the sign industry, which is what I've been doing for 17 years with
Congrats.
long breaks in between. And I do need a lot of help. English is my second language, and I do feel a little bit of fear, public speaking, presentation, and just to improve, myself to present and to talk to people in general without getting too many butterflies.
That's most of us.
Yeah.
We
can all relate.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Glad to have you. And there are members around the table who are managers and who give presentations as part of their job. So even when you're not scheduled, and thank you for being a guest, you can be a guest up to 3 times without joining, you'll have the benefit of seeing those presentations and gleaning from them and also from the evaluations that they receive.
Good.
Alrighty, moving on. Inspirational thought. Well, everybody, I hope you're going to like this. I love it. For this week, the inspirational thought that I came up with, try to be like the tortoise, comfortable in your own shell. And that's a quote from Bill Koopman. It's very important for us to realize that we've got 99% of the equipment right here. You are blessed with personality and strength, so just be comfortable with it. You've got every reason to be confident. Inspirational thought.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and now as president, it is my joy to turn the meeting over to our Toastmaster, Mr. Brian Lynch.
For our guests, as you saw when we were exchanging control of the podium, shake hands. That's the formal, this is just a little procedural thing, formal way of transferring, okay, you have the podium now, we don't leave the podium abandoned, someone's always leading the meeting. So that's what the handshake is about. So today, our theme is Life's a Picnic. In light of that, I came up with a word. The word of the day is audacity, which is the state of being audacious, voraciousness, or appetite. Appetite, I thought, went well with picnic, so hence the word. So the word of the day we try to use during table topics, which is when we're speaking off the cuff, you're given a topic and you have about as much time as from get your chair to the lectern to come up with what you're going to talk about for about 2 minutes. So you try to incorporate the word of the day into your speech.
Could you use the word of the day in a sentence?
I could.
Thank you.
Would you like me to?
I would love you to, because I'm thinking of, a similar word, but it's not audacity.
Craving can be defined, and you can use audacity or audacious, any form of the word. Craving can be defined as a compelling and overwhelming audacity for a particular substance. And that's a quote from Robert T. Ammerman, Prevention and Social Impact of Drug and Alcohol Use, 1999. Or, if we go back to Thomas Carlyle, The French Revolution, A History, in 1837 was written, said, if thou have any vendible faculty, nay, if thou have but audacity and loquacity, come.
Oh, very nice.
So we gotta use Old English.
Well, there were
Audacity,
two samples, choose your favorite.
yes. Audacity comes from the Latin root audaci, which meant gluttonous.
Oh, no. Okay,
So hence the appetite.
got it.
Okay, so now we need a joke of the day to help ease tensions and warm everybody up. I have the joke of the day. Preparing for the meeting kind of reminded me of this joke. So this is another history lesson. This is going way back to premortal life, before Adam and Eve. Lucifer and Jesus were arguing, and they were trying to present to God and all the souls in heaven who was going to have the better plan for the world. Of course, Jesus and God were of the opinion that humans, man, should have free agency, the right to choose. Lucifer says, no, we'll mess it up. Souls go in, they should not have free agency. They just set out, boom, 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 this is what you have to do. They live up to it, go through. They don't have a choice. So they have an argument. Say, okay, well, put together a presentation. So they did. They got their computers out, and they started compiling, making databases and doing spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations and Word and Excel spreadsheets and all this stuff, and they were putting it all together, and just before they were finished, power outage. Lost everything. Emergency generator kicked back in. Jesus hits the button. Things start printing out. He's got his presentation. He's like, what's going on here? I lost power. Lucifer says, I lost power. I lost everything. What's going on? God said, Jesus saves.
That was good.
What reminded me of that is I had we had made a change in the agenda, and I didn't save it, so I want to send it back out, and had to remind me. It's like, yes, I guess I didn't save it. So. Thank you for reminding me of that joke. Let's see. Our counter today will be Lieutenant Coopwood, and if you could explain, please, what your duties as the counter grammarian are. It's on the back of the agenda if you want to quick.
I'll look for, that's too much. Okay.
No, just your part.
I'll give the condensed version, and that is I'll look for crutch words, words that are improperly used, and words that don't fit what you're talking about, don't fit context.
Help us become better speakers.
Yes.
Okay, and let's see. Jay, you will be our timer today. And we will have a speaker coming up, which is Kathy. And let's see, our evaluator is Lieutenant. Would you please review her speech?
Kathy will be speaking from the Competent Communicators Manual, which is the first manual that we all received. She'll be doing Project 10, Inspire Your Audience. Her objectives are to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs and achievements. Appeal to the audience need and emotions using stories, anecdotes, quotes, and drama. And Kathy's speech will be how many minutes? 5 to
7.
Okay. You
5
said
to
8 to
7.
10.
Oh, sorry, 8 to 10.
8 to 10
Yeah.
words?
8 to 10 words
Okay,
for
I mean,
me.
you can go 5 to 7.
No, 8 to 10 words.
8
8 to 10 words.
Yeah.
So green will be 7,
8 minutes.
8 minutes, yellow will be 9, and red will be 10.
Yes.
Correct.
Perfect.
And
Okay?
then she'll have 30 seconds to complete.
Wrap it
And
up.
still qualify. Thank you. So, at this point, I would, do you have the title for her speech?
The title of her speech is Feeling Good in Your Hood.
Oh, nice.
So if you would welcome Kathy Clumpy, Feeling Good in Your Hood.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, honored guests. Yes, the title of my speech is Feeling Good in Your Hood.
I know where it is.
Our neighborhoods, that's where we live. We spend a lot of time there. Have you noticed every neighborhood has one of these? What am I talking about? Well, it's a retired person who knows everything that's going on. I have one. I met him right after I moved into my neighborhood. In fact, he moved in right after I did. He's retired. He has a dog. He's always out and about in the neighborhood meeting people, walking his dog. And anytime you come up to him, hi, how you doing? Hey, did you hear about so-and-so and such and such? And he knows every neighbor in my neighborhood. He knows what they're all doing. He knows, sometimes I go home for lunch. He knows when I go home for lunch. Oh, I saw you today. You came home for lunch. That's amazing, Steve. But more than that, he's a good neighbor. He does have his moments, but he's a good neighbor. He would take in my trash cans for me when I wasn't there. He watches my dogs for me. I feel very comfortable with him right across the street. He keeps an eye out on my house. He'll come over and say, hey, someone parked in front of your house today. I went over and talked to him, but it was okay. Very nice. Well, I live in a new neighborhood, and there's a lot of empty lots of land, and there's a lot of open fields where I live. And eventually what happened with this neighborhood is a lot of crime started to move in. So what we did was we evolved from our retired person, whom I call Eddie. So we moved up from our Eddie and moved into getting a neighborhood watch program. And neighborhood watch programs kind of evolve or come about when there is a rising crime in your area. For example, people were finding they couldn't leave their cars parked out in the driveway at night. They were constantly getting broken into. When we were having supposed repairmen coming to empty homes and breaking in and stealing the appliances. Well, we were all getting very upset, so some of the people got together, said, let's start a neighborhood watch. So we did. Neighborhood watches are great. We had our first meeting in a local pizza place. We all got together, and a representative from the police department came. And it was wonderful because he gave a great talk. They talk about your home security, getting alarms and things like that. And they also talk about marking your property with identification. Yeah, that was good, but he got to the good stuff, the neighborhood watch. This is where he talked about being observant. When you're in your neighborhood, do you pay attention to who's driving through? If you see something out of the ordinary, do you stop and think about it? He brought up some great points. Do you help your neighbors regularly? If their trash can's out for an extra day or two, do you take it in? Or if you notice newspapers are out, do you maybe knock on the door, see if they're okay? If you see a strange car parked out for a couple days out around the corner, what do you do? He gave us a lot of insights on what we can do to make our neighborhoods safer, take care of each other, and just make it a better place to live. I tell you, it has really made a difference in our neighborhood. One of the things we started doing right away is when we drive home, rather than just driving to our house, we drive around the entire development and we take a look around. What do we see? Do we see anything out of the ordinary? If we do, well, we don't do anything. We just report it to the police department. They were very, very clear about that. Don't do anything yourself. Just report it and let your neighbors know. And one tool that we used that was awesome was someone started a Yahoo Groups email, and we all joined, and it was a great way to communicate with each other. One thing this one neighbor did that I thought was awesome. There was a car, and we knew it did not belong in the neighborhood. It was broken down. There were some shady characters. He went out with his cell phone, took a picture of the car, took a picture of the license plate, posted it on the Yahoo Groups. We all saw it. We called the police. It was wonderful. We all knew where they were, who they were. We had identification, and that's the key. That's the key, especially with cars. getting that license plate, getting a description of the person. And we have all in our neighborhood been emboldened. We are out there, if someone strange is walking through, we go up and say, "Hi, can I help you with something?" It really, really makes a difference. Can you imagine if you were walking through a neighborhood, just a neighborhood you did not belong to, maybe going to see a friend, and someone came out of the house, walked right up to you and said, "Hi, I live here. Is there something I can help you with? Or what are you doing here? Why are you here?" If you have some criminal intentions, it really makes you stop and think. These people are really keeping an eye out. And that's all it is. That's all there is to it. It's just communicating, helping each other. I remember there was one evening, I was driving home and I thought, I'll just take a sweep around my neighborhood. And I was driving around, it was getting dark, and there was some guys, it looked like they were doing a drug deal. Not that I'm experienced in that, but that's the way it looked. Because there were two cars and they were pointed face to face. The young kids, they were dressed kind of disheveled, and they just looked like they were up to no good. So I drove by quickly, ran, got my neighbor, Eddie, and got him out. He got in his car, and we both drove over there and shone our headlights on them. When we did that, they got in their cars and drove away. And I haven't seen them since. So it was just that little simple thing that we did, just paying attention and taking the time to be observant that made a difference. And we posted it on the Yahoo group, said, "Hey, just be on the lookout. There was a couple guys, and we described the cars. Just be," and this, we always put where they were and what they were doing, so everybody knows what's going on. And this has worked really well. Just recently, there was a new application for iPhones that came out. It's called Nextdoor, and I think it was designed just for this purpose. It's kind of like a Facebook wannabe is what I call it, but I put it on my phone, and I can get updates, and we can communicate on the fly. Here, it's called Nextdoor. I know it might not be easy to see, but you can just log in and post things, put pictures. It's great. So we keep each other updated, informed with Nextdoor. What I love the most, though, about our neighborhood watch is I've met all my neighbors, pretty much. There's always those who choose not to get involved. But I've met all my neighbors. I feel very comfortable going up to a neighbor's door, knocking on it, and saying, "Hey, this is going on, or that's going on, or please, be aware of this or that." We all seem to have a main goal in mind, and we all get along really well. Feels good coming home. I feel really good now in my neighborhood. I drive home, I wave to my neighbors, are friendly. If something's out of place, I feel comfortable, I know what to do, and the crime is down. So, like many groups, you have to really work at keeping it going, kind of like ToastMasters. You need some good leadership, but really, it's just the average participant coming and just doing their little bit each time that makes it run, makes it go. So even if it's just running across the street to your neighbors and saying, "Hey, I noticed that you haven't picked up your paper for a few days. Is everything okay?" Things like that, taking in the trash cans, paying attention to your neighbors and your neighborhood. Law enforcement doesn't know why Neighborhood Watch works. They've tried to take statistics on it. They don't know. They really don't, but they know it works. And I say, if you don't have one in your neighborhood, you might want to try and think about it, because it's more than just crime prevention. It's about neighbors caring about neighbors. It's a great program, and I highly recommend it. Thank you.
Great job. Okay, so at this point, we transition to the next phase of our meeting. So we go from the formal prepared speeches, now we move into the table topics. And the table topics is, I'll give you a build-up here, okay? We have different topics that are presented. You speak off the cuff, and it prepares you for many different opportunities. If you're going for a job interview, you're given a question, and you have to come up with an answer on the spot. So it helps you prepare for that. Giving sales presentations, you walk into a new customer, you kind of know what you're going to talk about, but you don't know what their specific needs are. So there are things that you kind of have to adjust to that. So that gives you an opportunity to become better and more familiar with speaking off the cuff and without having a formal prepared speech. We do try to incorporate the word of the day, which is 2 bonuses. One, we're trying to, it increases your vocabulary, you get a new word, and then using it in a sentence and in your speech. And think, again, trying to speak off the cuff, but have a certain goal in mind to keep yourself targeted. So our table topics master today is Monica Henby.
Sorry,
for
Monica,
having
didn't
me
know we were
here.
gonna have all the guests here. This is Monica's first time doing this, so she was probably a little nervous.
I'm trying not to be, so welcome everybody and thank you for having me. Today I was going to be talking about life is a picnic, and some of the things that I was going to say, he already said, so I'm not going to go into that. But as I do call people up here to volunteer and whatnot, just remember to use the word of the day, audacity. So, any volunteers today? Oh, before I go on, if you could please, Jay, if you could please tell us or remind us what the time constraints are?
Yeah, the table topic is total of 2 minutes. Green will be 1 minute, yellow will be 1.5, and red would be 2 minutes.
Great, thank you. Okay. Now, do I have any volunteers who may want to come up and talk about Life is a Picnic? I have some questions for you guys. Any volunteers? All right. I have prepared some questions. So if you want
So it's
to.
my own fault, whatever I get.
Yes.
Back at you.
Oh, okay, fun, I like this. My table topic question is, tell us about your last picnic and what did you like about it? Well, fellow Toastmasters, it has been a long time since I have been to a picnic or been invited to a picnic. This one occurred right after my sister was married. My sister is 18 months older than me, and fortunately, she married a rancher. So we're talking a man who's got 14,000 acres, sheep, cattle, and he had this great idea of getting on these quads for Easter. And we had 2 quads, we loaded up the baskets and all the food, and it was my favorite because I love the land. If I have time off, I don't want to be around a lot of people, I want to see some great landscape. So we get in the quads, we load up all the food, and we're going over this picturesque countryside out in Artois, which is a little bit north of Willows, still very remote. We get to a spot, and it's my favorite. There's nobody there. You see eagles and hawks go by, you see some of the cattle looming. We laid out the picnic blanket, it was just family, and we spent all day there. It was really magical. That was my favorite picnic. And it was so beautiful, I didn't exercise my usual audacity. I was more into the scenery than the food. There it was. Thank you for the reminder, that's perfect.
That was a very good speech there.
Thank you.
So if I could have any other volunteers who might want to speak about Life is a Picnic?
Yay!
My own topic?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
With respect to picnics?
Yes, but.
She's gonna
She's gonna pick her own
own.
topic,
Yeah,
so she's gonna do picnics, but she's gonna do her own.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So my name is Lori Ackerman and I'm new to Toastmasters.
Yes,
But my most memorable picnic that I've ever been on, I was in my 20s and I was on a search and rescue team. And we were practicing climbing, rock climbing and rock rescues. So we were in Tuolumne Meadows, we were climbing up on one of the mountains up there. And we were on the side of the mountain and had time to stop, look at the beautiful view, and have our picnics 1,000 feet up, watching all the people down as we were doing our rescues. And well, this is the summertime in the Yosemite area, and just as there is going to be today, there are thunderstorms. And so we saw the thunderstorms as we were having our picnic. We saw the thunderstorms come through the valley and over the mountains in big clouds. And so we finished up our picnic, finished up our rescues, and went down and got back into our cars and down into the valley. And as we were sitting in our cars, the hail started coming down. Just big, huge pieces of hail. And then you see all these people coming streaming out of the mountains in their t-shirts and their flip-flops, and they're freezing cold. And so then we actually did have to do some rescues. We had to do some rescues as people were coming out of the mountains. But it was a beautiful day, and it was very memorable. Thank you.
Awesome job, and thank you for volunteering at the last minute. Anybody else who wants to try it? Come on up, David.
Yeah,
Here are your choices. Okay.
What's your most memorable time in a picnic? Well, there's only been a few picnics that I've ever been on, but one of the more memorable times I've had, of course, involved food.
What's up?
It involved family, and it is how my family does its family reunions. Once every 5 to 10 years, getting close to that, my family gathers in the Midwest, usually Illinois, Indiana area. They pick a spot, and we all have this giant picnic. And when you look at my mother's side of the family, they're prolific. The smallest one that I've been to was only 250 people large, and the largest one was closing in on about 400. So imagine cramming hundreds and hundreds of people into parks that are usually only designed for a few hundred at a time. We usually overwhelm a spot, and I show up, and I don't know how to incorporate my word. I show up, and I show up with my audacity, and we eat and we eat.
There you go.
Pork sandwiches, tri-tip on the barbecue, and lots of beer in my family. Thank you.
It just made me hungry. So anybody else who might want to try this? Any volunteers?
Oh.
Come on.
I love the idea of picnics.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. When I was little.
Okay.
Great question. How would I describe the last picnic I ever attended? I have pugs. I love pugs. I've had many pugs in my life. Well, pugs have picnics. My pugs have gone to many picnics, and I go with them. Pug picnics. That's the last picnic I ever attended. What it is you go to an open space, could be a baseball field or something, but it has to be closed, and you take your pug in and you let them off the leash and you let them just go and have fun. And there's little pools around they can jump in to cool off. And I'll tell you something, anyone knows anything about a pug, they are audacious. They have a voracious appetite. Pugs love to eat. The last pug picnic I went to, my little guy, Shane, kept disappearing. He'd be, you keep an eye on him, but he kept disappearing. So I'd go and I'd find him and I'd pick him up and I'd bring him back. And he'd take off again. Well, I'm gonna follow this little guy and see where he's going. Yeah, there was a guy over on the other side of the place handing out little pieces of hot dog to the dogs. And he was over there with his audacity, his little self, eating these hot dogs. It's like, don't give my dog hot dogs, those are terrible. That's what people love to do. But pub picnics are a blast. The dogs just run around and have fun, there's contests. We humans get to eat too. It's great. I would recommend it even if you don't even own a pug. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Do we still have time?
Yes, we have time.
Okay. Anybody else who wants to talk about their picnic? Okay. Going once, going twice.
I've been here after a long time. I need warm.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe next time.
Well, take your time.
Well, I will return the control to the Toastmaster.
Nice.
That was an excellent job.
Yeah, it was a good job.
At this point, we'll turn the meeting over to our general evaluator. This is the third portion of the meeting. This is where we give the evaluations for the formal speeches. And then the general evaluator will also give an evaluation for the entire meeting. And she would probably, knowing Avis, will probably want to call on our guests to see if you had any questions or some feedback from you on how you think, what you thought about the meeting. So just kind of be prepared for that. So, our general evaluator, Avis Walsh.
Thank you very much, Mr. All right, well, my team is a little light today. I thought we were going to have 2 speeches and 2 evaluators. But today, in just a few minutes, you'll get to hear from my BFF, Lieutenant Kuboy, who has served in this capacity before. He's not even looking at me, so I don't know. I might have to remove him from my friend status.
Shallow.
Block
Shallow.
yes.
Before he comes up, he's very studious. He's the VP of Education, so he's probably still studying what he's going to say. Timer, can you let us know how many minutes our evaluator has?
Oh.
It's on there.
It's 2 to 3, I believe.
Okay.
2 to 3.
Green 2 minutes, yellow 2.5, and red 3 minutes.
Here now to give his evaluation of feeling good in the hood by Kathy is my BFF. Wants to hear from Lieutenant Cooper.
Thank you, Avis. Now, I have that little blessing there. I'm feeling good in the hood. Okay. All right. Feeling good in the hood. Kathy Clump. Loved your topic. Loved the appropriateness of the speech as well. I'm going to just run through the questions that it has here, and I'll try to stick with the agenda that it has on the feedback it gives me here. Was the speech topic relevant to the occasion? So, like, especially so since of the Trayvon Martin incident where the neighborhood watch captain got a little bit overzealous and ended up killing him. So the topic was very relevant. Did the speaker understand and express feelings to the audience? Yes, he did. He did very well. You always feel very comfortable up here. You were comfortable. Was the speaker forceful and confident? Yes, you were. You weren't real forceful, but this is more of an informative topic, trying to get everyone to understand the importance of it. So she didn't need to beat you over the head with it and get you all riled up, but she could have. All right. Did the speaker effectively use stories? Yes, she told stories about the drug deals and the drug sales and things like that, which I have had experience with drug sales. When I was going home one day and the guy said, hey. What? I'm driving. What is it? Thought you wanted to buy something. No. I didn't stay too long in the neighborhood. I ended up moving out. So yes, I can relate to that. As a matter of fact, I ended up setting up neighborhood watches with the Sacramento PD for about a couple of years. And he had an undercover car and everything was cool. So that did very good, very good. Anyway, that's about me. I'm getting off on me, aren't I? That should be stay on you. Ooh. Ava's going to talk about me later on that one. Did the speaker use body language? Yes, your body language is always effective and well. Now, let's just get down to the main points here. Well, what did you do good? I told you most of that. The introduction was about 2 minutes before you got into the meat of your speech, which was good. That's about average for a 10-minute speech. You usually talk about few minutes just to kind of get the audience warmed up before you hit the body of it. This is very embarrassing. Turn your phones off when you come up here, okay? All right. All righty. That's never happened before. I usually turn it off. All right. And also, you wrapped up a little quickly. You said, well, it's a good program, I recommend it. After such a great build-up and body, you summed up real briefly, probably because you saw the yellow and wanted to finish it up real quickly. I thought you maybe could use that opportunity to sum up and hit your high points again, or maybe even go back, because I like the way you pull the audience in with your questions. Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? You know, and that's good. That gets people connected to you. Gets people kind of feeling what you're feeling. And then you probably could have wrapped it by a call to action. Now, who in here would think they'd want to set up a neighborhood watch? And who might want to consider it? I can tell you who to go contact if you'd like to set up a neighborhood watch. And if you'd like to be interested, hey, come see me afterwards or something like that. I don't know. Oh, you just kind of get folks fired up. But that's about the only thing I think could have made it any better. And as usually you always do very little. So I really can't add much. I'll turn the meeting back over now to our gentleman right away, David Walls.
Thank you.
And your speech was 9 minutes and 13 seconds.
All right, that was going to happen. We're going to ask for the timer of table topics. Jay, how did we do? Did we qualify?
Yes, you all qualified. I think Avis 1 minute and 26 seconds. I didn't get your name. Lori. Lori is 1 minute and 31 seconds. David is 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, no.
And Karen, 1 minute and 14 seconds. Did I screw up your name? You're Kathy, right?
Yeah.
You are on camera, Jay.
Sorry.
Jay,
we go way back.
I know. Today.
I'm hurt.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And evaluation, should I say the evaluation too?
Yeah, you have time.
You're 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Okay.
A little wordy.
I have 30. Oh.
I need to add that
Lieutenant!
My BFF, yeah, I see why now.
Sorry, I was a little showing my audacity in other fields. Lieutenant, you're also our grammarian. How would you do with the use of the English language and the ums, ahs?
Everyone did real well. I caught myself saying, what was it? And I think and so or so. I said, oh, stop it. I heard myself saying it and I just couldn't stop it. It just kept coming. So. That's the crutch word. You keep saying it all over again. Oh, so or and so. Most people use and so. But everyone else did real well. But I suck. Sorry. Okay.
We have plenty of grace. Thank you very
And
much.
as far as the word of the day, 2 people used it.
Thank you.
Even David did.
I don't think I used it correctly, though.
Oh, okay. You were trying to. That's
All
a
right.
good.
Send each other emails of all of your warm fuzzies later. I'm evaluating me. Yeah, that's right. Captivators, we had a very good meeting today. What makes a meeting outstanding is to have a team. And looking around the table, we can see that we have a lot of bodies here, a lot of great personalities who care deeply about doing their best and also keeping the motto of ToastMasters, which is to build competent speakers and do so in a very supportive way. So we had an excellent meeting. Lieutenant, thank you for your evaluation of Kathy. I think it was fabulous. You also can learn from people's errors. So the fact that Lieutenant, my BFF, had his cell phone on just reminds us before we come into the door of a meeting, take care of the obvious. We might even have our sergeant at arms in the future ask us if we forgot to please turn them off. When you're a manager and you're running from one meeting to the next, sometimes that gets skipped. Now I will lead into the business portion of our meeting. 2 quick things. The fall conference unfortunately cannot be conducted in Lake Tahoe. In the past, I was very promotional and letting you know how excited we were to have it in the Lake Tahoe area. Unfortunately, their cost for a hotel is huge, and we figured that volunteers and ToastMasters aren't going to pay close to $300 for an overnight. So the committee is back at it, and it'll probably be at the DoubleTree next to Arden Mall, just so that you know.
I can ask when you.
Oh, sure, yes, matter of fact, I'll make this quick. Speech coaching, if you were not at the Training Institute, they had a great seminar on speech coaching. George Jurasic is a friend of mine, he helps me do the website. He let me know that it was so good that they're gonna have it again in August. So you get a second chance if you wanna hear some great tips about speech coaching. This is not the Reader's Digest version. George paid $2,000 to go to Vegas and be trained by a past world champion. So he's got his session on video, and this will be really worthwhile. It's free at TLI, please take advantage of that. Brian will probably have some input for us later, because he did attend that seminar. Maybe we can get him to be on the agenda for the next meeting.
I think it was.
And for
It was
Toast,
like this meeting.
oh, okay. All right, then I will return control to the,
Actually, he had a
all right, the
quick
10th.
announcement. Area contest is September 27th for the humorous speech contest. You do not have to have any set numbers of speeches, like 6 speeches done as you do for the international speech. You can just have an icebreaker, it doesn't matter. So if you want to participate in the area speech contest, we first have to select people from the club level, and then we'll send those people to the area contest. Okay? And that's also evaluation contest as well.
All right, so that's September 27th. Here now, Brian Lynch for the educational moment.
I did attend the TLI this past Saturday, and saw George and Deborah.
Diane Bish.
Diane Bish, thank you. I didn't realize that was your friend, but that's.
Yes.
He's actually a professional clown, and he was using speeches and whatnot, and so he's very expressive facially. The way that they ran it was he got up and he told a joke, and he had asked one of the participants to evaluate it. So then he finished his 90-second joke. She gave an evaluation, as you would for any speech that LT did. And then he got up, and so he was using that to compare to what a coach would do. So then he came back up, and Deborah, who was his coach, he started the joke again. She got to one point, she said, "Stop right there. Okay, you're starting here, and then you started backing up. Don't back up. You want to stay up in your strong point." So the coach, instead of waiting and giving your evaluation at the end, as soon as they see something, they stop you and they try to give you correction as you go through it. So you're not trying to get a whole bunch of points in that you have an opportunity to, and it's, okay, start back over. So it's building off of that. And then the participants in the class would kind of a round robin, and we were giving suggestions back and forth for different things that they may not, the coaches may not have thought about, or to help exemplify it. So it was very interesting. Giving positive feedback, a little bit different than the evaluator. It's more of a personal thing. So if you want to have someone coaching you, you have to be able to be willing to accept coaching. You can't just, the evaluation kind of comes with the territory. You get it at the end, it's all good. This is a little bit more personal and interruptive, so it takes a little bit of getting used to, and you have to buy into the concept and be accepting of it. But it was very informative, had good participation, and everybody was really excited about it. So it's a neat thing. So if you're trying to get into a speech contest, you might consider getting a coach from one of the district level or somebody in the club that would be more to mentor you.
Very nice. We are going to conclude the meeting a little bit early. I'd like to leave time for our guests to ask any questions of us as a group. Michael, did you?
Wait, are we expected to speak at every meeting?
No, as you
No,
can tell.
I was a class.
This is a good example right here.
one of these people in here went up there, I was thinking, okay, I know what I would say, but I know once I get up there and I'm on the other side of that podium, that's when I go blank. And I've done that many times when I've had to speak in public. And it's, at my job, we had an all-staff meeting
Oh, yeah.
here. And at work, I'm very animated. I'm very, I'm a jokester. But when I got up there, I had to describe what I do at my job for everybody that doesn't work here. I got up there, I started with my first joke, and then it all left. And I was up there in front of 100 people, and I couldn't think of what I did, or how I did it, or what my name was.
Right.
And so I had to turn around to my boss, and I said, I can't do this, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Oh,
So I walked off, and everybody was like, what's going on?
Right.
And so I felt really bad that I said, man, I gotta, because if you know me at work, everybody's surprised that, really, that I can't believe that you can't speak in public, but it's true.
Yes.
See, even right now, talking is fine. If I was over there trying to say this, it wouldn't happen.
And that could be because of the expectations that sometimes we put on ourselves when we get up to present. All of a sudden, it's just not, I'm just the assistant to the personnel office. All of a sudden, you're remembering the best MCs you've seen, the President of the United States, and we sometimes put so much expectation on our shoulders of how we would like to come across, that when we get up, it's like, I'm not there. I'm not ready for that. I didn't prepare for that. And everybody has different triggers inside of them, but you know when that comes up that you're already self-defeating. What you're gonna like about a ToastMasters group is, yes, they've built into the meeting opportunities to have at least 1 minute speaking time. With the roles, we either are performing our role, you have to have some sort of communication. But at each meeting, you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity if you want to volunteer for the table topics. But we recognize that people have different constraints every day. So if you prefer not to speak for that day, you just let the VP of Education or one of us know and we won't schedule you. When Monica came on board, I pretty much, it was a little bit of arm twisting. I even said I'd pay for half of her membership. And she wasn't at that point. She was even new, and we let her know, we will go at your pace. Let us know when you're ready to take a role. So we won't push, yes.
The competent communicator manual that she was speaking from, there's 10 speeches that you have to give. I just completed mine.
Yes.
The first speech is the icebreaker. So you know the subject. You talk about yourself, introduce yourself. It's shorter. 3 to 4 minutes, I think it is, something like that. So it's a little shorter than the rest of the speeches. And then the last speech is a little bit longer because you should be more comfortable with it. But we start out with the subject that you're most comfortable with yourself. So just explain who you are, whatever you want to talk about, your history, how you grew up, your family, whatever it is that you know the subject intimately, I hope. So we have that covered, and it's just going to give you a little bit more comfort level starting out.
Right.
But the best way to get over is just get up there.
That's right.
Just get up there. Get up there as often as you can. As often as you
Don't be
can
like
until you
me.
get comfortable.
When they're asking for table topics,
Just get up there.
put your hand up.
That's the best way to overcome.
First time today,
Monica.
Monica.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Not to put you on the spot, but.
Actually, Avis was nice enough to get together with me at lunchtime, and she and I discussed basically what was expected of me. So when I volunteered to do it, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. However, I don't know what I'm up against. So she gave me the warning, so to speak, as to what I might say or do. And because of that, I was able to basically function.
And this is your what meeting? 6?
I've only attended, 5, 6
5, 6
meetings?
Right, and some of those were as a guest.
I think you did very well, by the way.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you did wonderful.
And Lori, I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was great.
How did you feel being up there?
It was my second time, my second meeting, my second time. So I just feel like I need to take advantage of any opportunity that I have. And it was something that I could speak on, and I had something that was kind of interesting, so I felt comfortable doing it.
Could have fooled me.
Well, please keep all of those things in mind. You have a great benefit in this Toastmaster group, and that's we are functioning for over 4 years, so we try to do what Toastmasters offers every member, and that's assign a mentor, so that you have somebody who gets you up to speed before the meeting on how to do your roles. It's in the manual. We don't always read our manuals. We have mentors to help you through. And I would like to stress, this is such a friendly group. You are not with your boss. You're with a group of people who are doing this for their own professional development. We're not skipping professional development because we have managers and people who need to do this for their profession. So we will be honest with you in giving instruction along the way. But if you fail, it's not the end of the world, and that's what's great. You can be your worst here, and we're still gonna clap, we're still gonna see you the next day. We have nothing but love for each other, even with your BFF scowls at you.
One word.
Yes, we kid each other. So I hope you choose Toastmasters. I hope you decide to do it now, and I hope you'll choose this group, because honestly, best group of folks you'll ever see. Humble, but striving for so much. And it's video recorded, so if you don't like what we say, you can watch. Yes, hero critique. Thanks, David, for offering that. Lori,
I would
yes.
just say that getting up there and doing that is kind of a rush. Because it's like you are flying without a net. You don't, especially on the table topics, you don't have anything written down, you haven't thought really about it ahead of time. And it's very welcoming, so it's really, I didn't find it really scary.
See, I can do table topics, that's why I'm hesitant to go, because I can't just talk on the fly. I have to be prepared.
We all have our preferences.
Yeah, all have the preferences and the weakness and the strength.
Yes, so be comfortable in your own shell,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's what makes
Yes.
everything fabulous. You're not hearing one cookie cutter personality. We're able to come up here and say, this is how I do it, because this is my personality. And you will get feedback on that personality so that you glean the strengths and hopefully decide whether you want to let go of some things that others say are distracting from getting your communication across. I'll stay a little bit later if anybody has any questions, but this meeting is now
I
officially
just want to
adjourned.
know why this was given, there was no instruction prior giving this, so I didn't know what
We're
to
starting
do.
to do, this LT passed out, the ballots. If you have any warm fuzzies that you want to give to any of the speakers, or either the
Table
formal
topic.
speakers or the table topic
Oh.
participants, you can give a critique, it's like, hey, I thought there was a great topic. Whatever, just people
Encouragement.
need to, whatever encouragement you want to give to them
Yes.
is personal kudos.
It's
So what is this
so you can
about?
take it out the door.
This should help, just to help you.
Oh, just for me?
Yeah. it's
Oh,
just for-
okay, okay.
So you can see what you need to do and where you need to go.
That's a
Okay.
good tool, I like this very much.
Yeah, I think
Thank
it's,
you.
I sent it to you.
Oh, very
you
nice.
take this, who takes this?
Brian. And if you want to join, see Avis or Brian.
Or Kathy.
What's the dues to join?
Right now, it's $39.60.
A year? Or
No, they prorate it depending on the month that you join. We just started the fiscal year, it started July 1st. So if you start this month, it's the full rate.
And it's for 6 months.
Yes, that you won't have to pay.
There's also
again.
another fee for first-time members. I read on the website, was that not on?
The first-time members, part of your $39 is the $20
Oh,
to
okay.
TLI, and that gets you your manual.
Which is this.
Right, and that's $20.
Is that manual sent to us or is it sent to you?
No,
It's sent to you. I got the confirmation email from Toastmasters International that yours is being sent, so you'll get it in the mail. You are officially a member, and soon your manuals arrive. If you need the first speech, the icebreaker, to read it and get familiar with it before